So hello everyone. So Elflein has struggled in, the preseason and kind of based on the game against Atlanta, you would say that has carried over or less, might have. He didn't play very well and he's very limited athletically, and I think that's kind of the problem given the scheme. And he would probably be better if they included more power kind of plays, more maybe power or gap running schemes, which they did do a little bit of that stuff in Atlanta, but it wasn't that prominent. It was more of the zone running stuff, and he would actually routinely be missing blocks, whether that was pass protection, which was a little bit more notable, and there were some in the run game as well, because in the zone you kind of have to basically when you're moving you are trying to pretty much just get to the second level almost constantly, and he's not always quick enough to get there, which moving laterally is a problem. He can kind of make up for it with angles and stuff when you're asking him to pull in those power gap or kind of like sweep kind of schemes, but when it comes to a zone, you got to move him laterally. It doesn't work, and it really does rear its head a lot. And he did get beat pretty badly on a sack that, could have been worse, I guess, because it was a fumble, but he got beat pretty badly there. And so is this just the last year we see him in purple? Perhaps. It's kind of like a maybe right now, I think. And obviously they just re-signed Brett Jones back, and if he does continue to struggle, Jones could potentially push that spot, I think, for the long term, at least for this season. And there's also a player by the name of Dakota Dozier who played really well in the preseason, and there's a lot of people that would argue Dozier and Brett Jones were the two best offensive linemen we had in said preseason. So you kind of have a versatile backup in both Dozier and Jones, because Jones is more of the center guard type, where Dozier, he was playing some left tackle in the preseason. I don't think he actually played too horribly at it, but yeah, and I think the thing is with this is people will say, well, the line needs to, they need to gel. They need to get the chemistry, which is true. But how many games do you want to allow that to happen? Because I think we would all agree Tom Compton and Mike Rimmers, a little bit too much time to gel, if you know what I mean. There needed to be a change there, and I think if they want to actually improve this line, this is kind of a thing they need to be able to avoid, which is that kind of situation. If Elflein's going to continue to play like this, they need to find a replacement, because he's not very good given what we have seen so far. It's been a pretty rough adjustment to guard, and I was a little bit worried about that, but I had some hope just because he did play guard in college, although that was right guard, not left guard. So I just think maybe by week 5 or 6, if this is still a thing, you would probably say, try a different guy at left guard. And I don't really know if that's going to be, Jones, Dozier, or Samia, but they all have the actual athletic profile to be able to thrive in this kind of, you know, zone running scheme, where Elflein really doesn't seem to have, at least at a functional level. I don't think he really has that. And I do think that even though this is early to be thinking about it, you probably should be thinking about it, just once again to avoid the kind of situation that we had with Compton and Remmers. It really wasn't good last year, and having that again would really ruin this year even more. So, well, kind of like last year was kind of ruined just based on the fact of the interior offensive line and John DeFilippo. But, like, you also have to keep in mind the longer he plays poorly next to Bradbury and Reef, that makes their jobs harder. In turn, they get a little bit worse just because Elflein's playing really poor. And I think the last thing you want is a rookie center struggling more than he needs to be struggling. And now he also has the whole hurt thing. And I don't know if this is their way of saying if he's actually hurt, then that's a thing. But I almost think he plays so horribly that is he hurt? I'm not entirely sure. It actually wouldn't surprise me. I feel like they've done things like this in the past, but I'd like to know your comments down below. And because my initial thought here is just if it weren't for the scheme, he would probably be fine. I like Elflein as a player. I just think the scheme is probably too demanding of him. I don't think he fits it well enough, and therefore he's kind of knocked out. But I would like to know your comments down below, what you think, the whole rundown of things. Till next time, I've been Jelladoo.